All right, how you guys doing today? We about to hop into a reaction. First things first, though, just make sure you like that video, man. Hit a little exit full screen, scroll a bit, like it, and full screen back up. You feel me? I sold the bag. I sold the bag, but it's okay. It's okay. We are going to watch the video I said we are gonna watch like 2 days ago. How about was a Urey experiment? Atheist experience 532. I don't really have an intro. I'm just about to get into it.
The last caller was David. This is also David?
This is also David, but not the same David.
How you doing?
Doing fine, guys. I like it the most when the two of you are on the show.
Thank you.
I know Matt's on all the time, but the two of you just work really great.
Well, we're like brother and sister.
Well, y'all
Wonder
do
twins.
the job. I mean, you know, I'm a Christian, but I believe in always putting my beliefs up to scrutiny to see if they stand the light of day. And you guys do a great job of that and make me think, and I really appreciate you guys for that. Okay, and I'm going to try to be quick because I know we're running out of time. You had mentioned the Miller-Urey experiment.
Right.
And abiogenesis. I have, this at least is one thing I've gotten to spend a lot of time studying because I find it very interesting, and I love biochemistry.
Are you getting ready to point out that they didn't use an atmosphere that's consistent with Earth's atmosphere at the time?
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm going to point out that when you study biochemistry, you find out that what they created was an inorganic amino acid that does not have the same chirality that organic amino acids have. In other words, see, there's two kind of amino acid structures out there.
Right.
There's one called race mates, and then there's one that is either left or right-handed. The race mates are neither left nor right-handed. They are mirror images.
There's an answer for this at talkorigins.org if you go.
I've been, and that's an answer that's, well, this protein might have done this, and this kind of amino acid might have done that. All that is I could have made that up myself.
Well, the point, I mean, we already know that their experiment wasn't consistent with the
I've
atmosphere.
been all over Talk Origins, yeah.
Yeah, the point is that there's no reason to think that it is impossible for life to arise from non-life under the right conditions. The fact that we haven't found the exact conditions that were available on Earth or produced the exact proteins that arose on Earth is irrelevant to whether or not we can produce the basic building blocks of life from non-life.
To believe that it did happen without intelligence being required is believe me, that, I mean, we're talking about such an incredible amount of faith, you might as well believe some intelligence has something to do with it.
No, the faith is in believing that there's some intelligence that is so vast and transcendent and, oh, by the way, hidden, that it could do this. And why, if this intelligence exists, would it create single-cell amino life and let it evolve over billions of years?
That's not what happened. And you have,
we didn't evolve?
And for that part of it, that's all nothing but speculation.
What speculation?
That we began with nothing but a single-celled and then went forward from there. Not until you come up to worms and sponges do you have anything to base anything on. Anything before that is absolute speculation.
First of all,
and also the Miller-Urey experiment, the part they don't tell you is that they didn't just make these inorganic amino acids inside of there. They also made a big yucky bit of toxic mess that would kill life.
They tell you that. Don't pretend like they don't tell you that. They tell you that. Their results are published.
Not in my textbook when I was growing up, it didn't.
The thing is that
they don't put it in the textbooks. They may say it at Talk Origins, but not to our little children growing up. They don't, which they should.
The purpose,
and I bet you agree with me on that.
I think the results are public. I think that what else was produced in there is irrelevant to the point that we're trying to make, and the point is that religions assert.
He said whatever was produced in there is irrelevant to the point that we're trying to make. The point they're trying to make is that life could create no life. If that life that was so-called created instantly died after and like evaporated, he would have been like, but we still did it. It's not irrelevant because it's there too. If you have one thing that causes an outcome, it doesn't matter how the outcome, what's with one outcome, the entire outcome is what matters. If you have something that's going to die after 30 seconds, there's no point in having it. If my goal was to make a child and every child I had kept dying after 30 seconds because my genes couldn't pass on correctly to make them live, that doesn't say, well, I can have children. Can you really though? Like, yeah, you can, but what's the point if they're just gonna keep dying right after, right?
Assert, and theists assert. The point is that religions assert and theists assert that life from non-life is impossible and absolutely absurd without the intervention of intelligence. You just basically said the same thing yourself.
No, I say that the evidence for it is extremely lacking, and
You said it takes more faith.
Chances are extremely low.
Then isn't that what I just said?
No.
Okay.
You said impossible.
No, I said absurd.
You did say the word impossible.
I'd have to
All
go
right.
back.
If I said impossible, then I'll take that back.
Thank you.
What you're saying then is that
We're so much alike, we're very exacting.
it is more plausible that some transcendent intelligence did this than that it could occur naturally.
And now we're talking philosophy instead of science.
No, we're not, and that's the thing. We're still
And
talking.
it's
We're
down
still
to what you consider to be more plausible.
Stop. It's not a personal decision about what's more plausible, and it's not philosophy. It's science. And one of the elements is that we can quantify knowns, and it is always wrong to hypothesize an unknown to explain a known. It's wrong to, and one of the elements is that we can quantify knowns, and it is always wrong to hypothesize an unknown to explain a known. Especially when we can explain knowns in terms of knowns.
When you quantize knowns, you know what the chance is for and against.
No, not necessarily.
I mean, life insurance, insurance wouldn't even be in business if it weren't for that.
I don't know that this necessarily applies in all cases. What I'm saying is we have known entities and we have possible explanations. And what you're saying is that it is more rationally justified to posit the existence of a transcendent intelligence, which we know nothing about and could not possibly know anything about, than it is to accept that this is possible by natural means.
Take out the word transcendence. Just greater.
Greater.
Now, when we're talking about the beginning of life, being here on Earth, there's a much greater chance that some other life seeded it here than there is that it's spontaneously generated on its own.
How can you say that? I mean, I don't disagree that, directed panspermia is one of the possibilities, but I don't know how you can say that that's more likely.
Directed panspermia is basically much wiser for you to adapt than to believe in spontaneous generation with all the things that we now know
because
stand in its way.
At some point, spontaneous generation had to occur, and what you're saying is more likely that it occurred somewhere else than here.
Because there were no organic materials. See,
But
organic
that's the
is
point.
something that was once alive.
That's the point of the Miller-Urey experiment, is to demonstrate that the building blocks of life, that organic material, can possibly come through natural processes from inorganic material.
And I just told you that they didn't produce the type that can
It doesn't
make life.
matter what type they produced. What matters is that they produced organic material.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they made race mates. Race mates have never been found in life anywhere at any time.
It doesn't, oh, you're still being narrowed to they didn't produce the same type that is here on Earth that is the building block of our life. That's not the point. You're
It
missing.
should certainly be.
No, it's not, because we're talking about organic from inorganic, not specifically how life formed. We've meant from the get-go that the Miller-Urey experiment does nothing to demonstrate exactly how life formed on this planet, or if it formed on this planet.
When you first talked to that other caller, you made it quite clear that you believe that experiment pretty much showed that we've been able to make the building blocks of life. And
Because
we have
it
not.
does.
Inorganic amino acids are not the building blocks of life.
I don't accept your claim. I'll
They
look
are
up.
race
I
mates.
don't accept your claim. We got to take this offline.
Then you're going to have to go to biochemistry and do a little study.
I have, and that's the other thing. But anyway, I'll go look up some more information later.
All right, my friend. I do
we got a
appreciate that
minute.
you're there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, David.
See, when I'm talking about my atheist friend, not atheist, agnostic friend, right? My biologist friend, he be talking about some, he does the same thing. Now you're switching to philosophy, and I'm like, bro, let's just talk about what you believe and what I believe, and it's not philosophy. And you can't quantify these things with human words, right? That's not what it teaches. We were talking about free will, and he's like, if God knows everything and it's all predetermined from the start, then it's not free will. And I'm like, it is free will. You have the choice in the moment. He just knows what choice you're gonna make, and he's like, well, then that's not free will. And I'm like, that's part of the mystery of free will, how he knows, but we have the choice in the moment. But at the end of the day, he says we have free will. We have free will. I can do whatever I want to do. He just knows that I'm going to do it. And then at the end there, you can see he just said, oh, I don't accept your claims. I did my studying. I did this. I did that. We were talking with my atheist friend yesterday at lunch because we just got on a topic of like prayer. And me and my one friend who's also a Christian, right? We're all RAs together. We were just talking about how, while I was going down the historicity of the Jews, for example, right? And how their lineage passed down. And really, if you look at their lineage, you have to accept everything that came with that, because how would they have passed all that down without the miracles that happened? They never would have got freed from Egypt if it wasn't for God, right? I brought that up first, right? The 12 tribes. How would that have happened without Joseph getting sold to slavery, to Egypt, the interpretation of the dreams thing, right? Why would we have these books about Ezekiel in the fire, or Elijah in the fire, Daniel in the lion's den, and in the burning oven, Jesus doing miracles? Why do we have all this written down, recorded? Nobody's saying it's wrong at the time. Nobody's looking at these works. Nobody's talking to these eyewitnesses accounts. These eyewitnesses accounts are saying it's happening. Nobody's refuting those claims, especially the people there. Nobody's saying it didn't happen. And now, so long ago, people want to say no. And now when it comes to all this, people want to say it didn't happen. And specifically for this guy's case, if that junk has not been found in life, I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm just saying I can do a Google search and it says no life on Earth exclusively uses the left-hand ones. Life only uses the left-hand ones. All proteins are left-handed, but nearly all the amino acid building blocks of protein today exist in the mirror forms, like right and left-handed gloves. But life only uses the left-handed ones. So you need a mix of both, right? And if it only came up with one, or not all, you can't get life, right? Because you wouldn't get the proteins, and proteins do so much in the body. I remember that from my protein class, or DNA and heredity class, genetics and heredity, whatever. But that was biology. I know a little bit. All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. Hope you guys have yourselves fantastic rest of your day. Peace.